The best in poker news, entertainment, and more. This is the Mark Hoke Show.
All right, everybody, how are we doing today? It's another Sunday here in Las Vegas. Actually, I'm over in Henderson today. I'm at the shifting headquarters a little bit for the Rogue Wire show here on the Mark Hoke Show, of course, and we'll get to all that. That'll be fun. A nice little topic for later in the show today. But thanks for being with us. And I'm just going to kick the show off right now with I am a friggin' idiot. That's right, everybody. You're going to hear it on the podcast right at the beginning. I am an idiot because I misscheduled the Off-Tilt Poker Tables tournament. Of course, everybody did have a fair chance to get in. We may add another event in. If people start showing up and going crazy, we'll figure it out. So I want to apologize for that. But it is actually going on right now, and we're going to put that up on the screen. They're down to 5 players in that event. Give me 1 second and we'll make the little shift. So you guys get to play a little bit. We did set up another tournament for you later on the show. We got we have a book from Jared Tendler, Your Choice of Mental Game of Poker or Mental Game of Poker 2. We also are going to be having an Arctic Blue Cooling Towel giveaway, and we also have an allvegaspoker.com t-shirt we'll be handing out. So make sure you sign up for that tournament starting at the time we were supposed to start the other one. Sorry. I'll tell you why I'm probably a little blah right now. There's no excuse. That was a terrible mistake on my part. I do apologize. But we'll get into all that a little bit later on the show. Of course, I want to thank all of our great sponsors of the show. We got a ton of them. And we'll also get to that. Actually, let's turn them down. Of course, BlindSquirrelApparel.com. Make sure you guys go to BlindSquirrelApparel.com. 20% off with the code Hoke. Pretty good deal on that. We also have Final 9 Comic. Get over there to Final9comic.com. Download that first issue. Check it out because the other ones are coming soon. So that's going to be a great time with that. So go to Final9comic.com and follow them on Twitter and Facebook as well. Of course, we also have our great friends at Arctic Blue Cooling Towels. It's not cool to be hot. Great Christmas gift. You got somebody in your house that deals with any type of heat at all. We're talking workouts, we're talking golf, we're talking your job, at the poker table, whatever. It's going to be something you really want to grab, and they're going to love it. Go to arcticblu.com today, 15% off, plus free shipping with the code Mark Hoke Show. It's a great gift. You're going to love it. And it looks like we have Esoteric all in there against Scrub. It's ace-10 against 5s. And, oh, look at that little 7 ball to send Esoteric packing. So he'll finish 5th, so Scrub's going to pick up more chips. By the way, congratulations, Scrub. 31st place finish there on the Mid-States Poker Tour. Good job, buddy. Way to go. So kudos to Scrubby out there. All right, and, of course, also our good friends at 3Bet Clothing. Make sure you go to 3bet.com. 15% off with the code RADIO. On there, of course, some of the great pros in the game endorsing 3Bet, so make sure you get on the action there, too, at 3betclothing.com. Poker plays you can use. Guys, go buy that book. What are you doing? Doug says, I want to sell more books, so let's sell more books. All right, go to 3barrelbluff.com. It's spelled out, 3barrelbluff, and you're going to get 25% off with the code KLAV when you check out. So please make sure you go pick that up. We'd certainly appreciate it. Wow, Azrael aces against Ace King. That's going to do it for Clemson, dog. That one's going to be over pretty quickly here. This keeps up. You guys are killing each other out there. We also, of course, have our good friends at Team Poker Joker. You can be a part of Team Poker Joker. That's right, kids. Go to teampokerjoker.com. Of course, some unique apparel and other items you can pick up, so head on over there. Good friends at Off-Tilt Poker Tables. Make sure you order a table for Christmas. That's not a bad idea. Go to offtiltpokertables.com. Poker table of the World Series of Poker, Mid-States Poker Tour, Deep Stacks Poker Tour, My House, and many others around the world. So go to offtiltpokertables.com. Of course, bluerail.net. Get your website hosting, anything else you need right now, get on over there to bluerail.net. Say hi to Bob. Some of you guys know him. Get in there and have some fun with it at bluerail.net. How far do you want to go? DraftKings, hey, free fantasy sports daily. Get in there at DraftKings.com, put in the code Hoke. You're going to get a 100% deposit bonus plus all sorts of other great gifts. So check them out at DraftKings.com. And, of course, our good friends at Poker Face News. Always one bluff ahead. Some great articles and interviews on there. Go to PokerFaceNews.com. And our good friends at Double Digit Covers, which we'll talk about a little bit later on the show. You need that one win, that little bet that's going to help you make that coin and put some extra Christmas money in your pocket. I'll go to doubledigitcovers.com. If you bet sports, stop guessing and start winning. Doubledigitcovers.com. Speaking of that, we're going to have one of our guests on there coming up here. Dutch Boyd will be joining us here on the show. Always a favorite here on the Mark Hoke Show, so make sure you check them out or hang around for Dutch Boyd today. We also have, let's see, we've also got, of course, Fred Davis, who is one of the handicappers at Double Digit Covers. We're going to talk to Fred, claiming that he's not claiming it's true. It's the college basketball specialist, but of course handles a lot of other great things there at DDC. So we're going to talk to Fred this afternoon, and then Matt Savage is going to be joining us here on the show. We will have a great opportunity to talk to Matt. He is over in Korea for the WPT Korea event, so we will get to say hi to Matt Savage here on the show today. Now, if you're wondering why I'm running around like crazy, let me tell you what has been going on over the past week or two. Because, of course, we're still waiting to reset the Friday show, but there's a reason for that, and we're going to make that official today. As I've been put on the team here with Overlay Gaming, the parent company of PokerAtlas.com and AllVegasPoker.com. And we're going to be putting some new stuff out for you, doing some original programming. We're going to be having we're going to be setting up a new show on, well, basically it's our Friday show is going to be taken up, plus so many other things. It's a lot of kind of a dream come true for me, because I'm going to be able to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do with the show over the past 2 years, and it's coming, and we're excited. I want to thank John Friedberg for the opportunity. But if you guys could take a minute or two and go like PokerAtlas.com on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, and also AV Poker. It's AVP, of course, All Vegas Poker on Twitter and All Vegas Poker on Facebook. So make sure you join in the fun there. If you want to know what's going on anywhere in Las Vegas at AVP, or, of course, around the country and Canada, check it out at PokerAtlas.com. Great stuff. So join in the fun there. Yeah, and it's just been very hectic. I'm actually out at the offices right now, getting some work done this morning. I worked one job, worked another job, and getting some things done here, and now doing the show. So it's been a little hectic, and like I said, I do apologize for the mistake I made, but we'll deal with it. We'll always find the right thing to do, so we'll take care of it. Hallowicked there with aces, trying to take out Scrub. Scrub gets one of the nines, plus a little bit of help on the clubs. And is he going to get the last help? No, Hallowicked. We'll be taking on Azrael here, heads up for this win. So great job there by Hallowicked. Yeah, so it's, once again, stick around. We got another tournament scheduled for 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern time, which is when the tournament was supposed to be. I unfortunately scheduled it for 5 o'clock Eastern. That is an error on my part, so sorry about that. But join us for that one. We'll have a good time. All right, so great show coming up here. Looking forward to it. It is going to be a blast. Hey, congratulations to Dan Smith taking down the Bellagio, WPT Bellagio, the Doyle Brunson Classic, picking up the big victory for him as he is scoring big. Dan Smith just keeps finding ways to win. It is pretty sick what that guy does with poker. He always seems to find a way to win the big events. So big congratulations there for Dan Smith winning the WPT Doyle Brunson 5-Diamond World Poker Classic. Big win for him. All right, of course, They are over in Korea right now, getting ready to get things started for that event. Of course, that's starting today and running through the 19th. So it's the inaugural WPT Korea from the Ramada Plaza in Jeju, South Korea. So pretty cool. It'll be the tour's first ever WPT Champions Club member from crowned in Asia. So great opportunity for you there for those guys if they made the trip. Of course, got a little event going over in Prague too, as the EPT Prague main event is happening right now. Of course, Vanessa Selp's winning one of the events over there. Not a surprise. She just continues to absolutely destroy the world of poker. And right now, going into day 3, your top chip counts were Ludovic Lequet leading the way, 1.7 million. Julian Track, 1.18. Lacelle King in third. Anna Marquez, your most notable name, she started the day off in 7th. But they had the largest field in EPT Prague history, over 1,000 players. So great run for the EPT. Of course, not such a great run for a company that's pretty much in charge of that. That would be Poker Stars. Poor guys at Poker Stars shut out of New Jersey. They will not be getting in, at least for 2 years, citing the issues with Mr. Scheinberg still having interest in the company and not faced the charges that were filed against him for Black Friday, and also the bad acting under UGIA. So Poker Stars not getting into New Jersey, which now begs the question. Oh, and it looks like we got Azrael in trying to hang on, by the way, and almost got the running clubs to catch that 10-6 to catch up, but Azrael does take that down. Good win there for Azrael, staying alive, trying to hold off Hallowicked. But that, of course, is a very intriguing situation because, I saw a tweet that somebody said that Party Poker opened the way for Poker Stars when they left, and now Poker Stars has opened the way back for Party Poker. And, I think that's pretty much how it's going to end up. I mean, I don't see any other way around this. Party Poker or Poker Stars is not getting back into the U.S., guys. It's not going to happen for a long time. But by the way, there goes Hallowicked winning the tournament, so congratulations to him, winning event number 4 of the Off-Tail Poker Tables Tournament Series. So nice job there by Hallowicked. Yeah, my throat's still bugging me, too. I caught a cold last week, and my throat just hasn't healed. I hope you guys can't tell. It's kind of, ugh. I guess that's how it goes. But yeah, it's a very very intriguing situation with Poker Stars, and I know a lot of players were disappointed. If you heard our show on KLAV, you could download the podcast, and it should soon be up on Poker News as well. But it's just crazy how a lot of the players very disappointed. I know when we called Katie Stone, she was getting ready to come. She came on, and I broke the news to her. She hadn't heard because it just happened about an hour before my show started on KLEV 1230 AM, and of course KLEV 1230 on your radio dial here in Las Vegas. And she was incredibly disappointed and said, "I guess I'm going to be bouncing around the country again. I have no choice." Is unfortunately without these player pools being combined and no interstate compacts, I hate to say it, guys, but we are just not going to get what we need out of it. But it'll be intriguing. Certainly it opens the door for a great company, Party Poker, no question about it. Everyone, really, when I first started playing online poker before the real big push by Poker Stars and Full Tilt, we had places go where Party Poker and UB, and of course we'll never see UB again, thank God. But Party Poker is going to be there, and you have some. WSOP.com certainly is going to stay a force. Ultimate Poker's got a lot of money behind them; they're going to be hanging around, and we'll see other new companies pop up as all this happens. Golden Nugget, actually, by the way, just got their license in New Jersey today, so good for the Golden Nugget. But this will be a very intriguing thing to watch as we move forward. But man, I hate to say it, but it hurts. Doesn't it hurt, guys? It's just a stinger not having Poker Stars around. Unbelievable. Yeah, I see Casino Examiner saying I hope to play online poker for real money for the first time in California. Yeah, good luck. Look, here's the problem in California. As usual, they cannot seem to pull it together out there. I don't know. Well, I know what the problem is, but we won't get into that. But a lot of tribal interests certainly causing some trouble there because they want to make sure they get their piece of the pie. You have other companies out there that can't agree, and everyone's fighting for this right now. And they've got to realize that if they don't settle it, there will be no pie. No pie for you. So how about we get a clue, settle it down, and get on the board. All right? Do something. And speaking of that, let me see if we got our good friend. Should be getting our first guest on here pretty shortly, so bear with me for a moment. Not on Skype yet, but Dutch Boyd going to be joining us here in just a second. Let me shoot him a line here real quick, and we'll get him on the show. So we have Dutch Boyd and, of course, Fred Davis from DoubleDigitCovers.com and Matt Savage joining us here on the show today. So it should be a pretty good one. Yeah, I got to tell you, that mistake threw me for a loop. I got to pull it back together. Very frustrating. But all right, but we are hanging on for Dutch, and we will speak to him very, very shortly. As soon as he hops on Skype, we'll hit the magic button and have him join us here on the Mark Hoke Show. Of course, don't forget, if you haven't tuned in on our show on KLAV, please do. Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. We'd love to have you come along and have a great time with us on the show. This week, by the way, I don't even know what's going to happen in the studio. Ryan LaPlante. A lot of you guys know Ryan, Potential MN, will be joining us, along with the First Lady of Poker, Linda Johnson, and Bodlar Deathbringer. For those of you that watched our World Series shows under the old name, you might remember Bodlar. He actually is a local artist and is a poker player. Does play when he can here out in Las Vegas, but he is quite the character. So we talk about the little Sin City twist. Well, there's your twist right there. Bodlar Deathbringer is going to be in the studio with Linda Johnson and our good buddy Ryan LaPlante. So make sure you tune in on Wednesday for that. Also replayed Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Should be a great time. So join us there. And we are getting ready to get Dutch Boyd on the show here in just a second. So should be ready to roll him into the mix. So let's get him on the board. Of course, the two-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner, Dutch Boyd, everybody, the mighty Dutch. How are you, sir? And I cannot hear Dutch.
Let's see.
There we go.
Can you hear me now, Mark?
I can hear you now.
Great. How's everything going?
Fantastic. Good to hear from you, my friend. What's up?
Not much. Just reeling over the Poker Stars news.
Oh,
crazy! I'm so disappointed that I won't be playing up there in New Jersey on Poker Stars software.
Is there a little sarcasm in there or not?
I mean, a little bit.
A little?
For the last. When was the first time I came on your show? I can't even remember.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think over the last 3 years I've been coming on your show, complaining and wishing that I was on. It didn't have a lifetime ban from Poker Stars, so I would say that it doesn't really affect me at all. I guess I'm a little bit sad to see that. I mean, it is the best software, but I don't really care.
Yeah,
man. I mean, who really cares? It's the same thing. You still only have 300 players up there. Does it really matter if it's on Stars software or Party Poker software?
No, I guess not. I mean, the only issue was the potential to be able to link up internationally, and that's what I know a lot of players are upset about. And aside from the fun with Poker Stars, it is pretty disappointing for a lot of players that are out there to not get to have the PokerStars coming into the U.S. market. So
Yeah,
where does everybody go from here?
That's for a lot of like the PokerStars pros.
Yeah.
I mean that would have been nice if they got the legitimacy. But I mean, everyone had to have seen this coming. The only reason that PokerStars is as big as they were was because of the great big vacuum left here in the States by Party Poker leaving when it was illegal for them to operate. And PokerStars was so willing to just jump in there and operate, knowing it was basically illegal. So I don't think that the fact that they did so so well in this kind of gray market, that doesn't just transfer legitimacy over to them. I'm not surprised at all that they're now being shut out.
So where do you think this is going to go from here? Obviously, I think the three big players at the moment are going to be Party Poker, WSOP.com, and Ultimate. Do you see that we're going to have a fight between those three for a long time? Are there other people out there that you think could step in? How do you feel about that right now?
I don't think there's going to be a lot of other entrants. I think that there was a really big hype. Everyone was looking at these markets thinking this is huge, being able to operate in these markets, and now they opened up and it's like a ghost town. You got 300 people on Party New Jersey. I mean, is that even really worth it for them to do a lot of marketing and have a really big push out there? It's not like a live card room when you have these online sites. With live card rooms, you can open up another live card room and think, well, people are going to come in because maybe it's closer to them, or maybe they like the atmosphere better. Maybe there's a couple cocktail waitresses they like. Maybe their friends are there. With online, there's really no reason to have more than one or two. The only differentiating factor between these sites is really the software, and there's not that much difference. Sure, PokerStars software is wonderful, but it's not like far and away better than the worst software platform out there right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I really think that it's going to be difficult for all these guys to get going until interstate compacts are done. I just don't see how they're going to be really doing a whole lot of these otherwise. Now, New Jersey does have the online gambling as well, so they're doing other games, which certainly help. I know I think it said they had about 40,000 signups total for the the first week, which isn't too bad. But
it might be true, but I think that those numbers are inflated too, Mark. It's kind of like if you look at the number of signups that PokerStars had, then you look and see, okay, maybe they had 40,000 in the last week, but really you're only talking maybe 5 to 10% are actually playing for real money. And of those 10%, 4,000 people, maybe you have 10% of those who are actually regulars and depositing more than $50. Those numbers are going to be misleading and optimistic. They're basically, if you consider the source of it, whoever's putting out those numbers has a vested interest in making it appear that they're being successful. But I don't think that these sites are successful. I'm looking at Poker Scout and looking at the numbers. It's really depressing. And I'm calling. I'm on the show right now. I'm back in Missouri for the holidays, and it's really depressing, Mark. I got a call from a buddy here in Missouri. It was Columbia, Missouri. We got 4 bracelet winners here in Columbia, Missouri. We got Corwin Mackey, Mig. We got the Hinkle brothers. We got Tony Rivera, and we've got myself. And my buddy, he calls me up and invites me to this home game. And I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, right? Back in Missouri, go play some poker with some buddies. So I actually look up the law in Missouri, and it's a Class D felony for me to just go play. It's depressing as all hell. And then I'm thinking about, okay, what about all those times that I was playing online on PokerStars or Party Poker, and I was here in Missouri? I mean, why is it legal for me to play there, but it was a Class D felony to play with my buddies?
Yeah.
The answer is it's not. It was Class D felony to play on PokerStars too.
Wow. Well, that's no good.
No.
No, you don't look good in orange, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying. Yeah, I had to tell him that I couldn't play.
By the way,
really depressing.
But by the way, I did love how you said there were 4 bracelet winners, and you counted the Hinkle brothers as one. Apparently, there are 5 of you total.
We got Grant is kind of more from KU instead of Columbia.
Ah, all right.
So, I don't really count him as one of the four from Columbia.
There you go.
If he wants to be counted among the Tigers, that's great. But I don't think so. I think he's more of a Jayhawk.
He's a traitor, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude, but
How's your life going, Mark?
hey, great, man. I'll tell you what, digging Vegas.
It's great seeing you on, involved with Friedberg and Atlas Poker, All Vegas Poker. A big fan of both of those sites for a long time. Big fan of John. He won his bracelet the same year I won mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his had about triple as many players as mine did. But great player, great guy, very good, very savvy. So I'm glad to see that you're aligning yourself with them. It looks like you're also on Poker News now, huh?
I am. How about that?
How did that happen? Wow.
Dude.
Wow. You know what? I feel kind of betrayed. I feel like a hipster who, was like really into a band, and then all of a sudden they just blow up, and now everybody likes the band. I'm not sure that I can like be hipster and still be a Mark Hoke fan.
Oh, come on. Come on. I'm
just kidding, Mark.
I'm still the
always
underground
be a Mark
guy.
Hoke fan. I'm always gonna say, yeah, I liked him before everyone else did. I liked him before he was cool.
Nice. Well, you got to get back out here. When are we going to see you in Vegas again?
Shoot, I don't know. I'll definitely be there for the series, I think. I'll probably be rolling through when we finally roll out this book, the Poker Tilt book. That's supposed to be done months ago. And it's one of those things where it's just I keep on writing it, and we got about 400 and something pages on it now.
Good Lord.
It's probably enough to just release it. It's more kind of in the editing phase right now, but I remember a quote where someone said that books are never finished, they're abandoned. And I can kind of understand what he meant by that now, because I just don't ever really want to release it. I want to just keep on working on it and tweaking it and making it perfect, but it's never going to be perfect. It's good right now. And one of these, pretty soon I'm just going to have to close my eyes and just release it. My partner's getting antsy.
Yeah.
He keeps on, he just wants to, he wanted to release it when it was about 100 pages. He just wanted to be done with it.
Well, it sounds like you have enough for 2 books there.
Yeah, we probably do. I think that, but it's going to be a big book. It's going to be good.
So
so I'll probably be coming through Vegas when I release it. Do a little book tour or something. I don't know.
Well, you should come on the show in KLAV. It'll be fun.
I'd love to. Maybe do a little reading or something.
Yeah.
Oh. And as one of our Kickstarter backers, you're going to be getting one of the first versions of that.
Oh, that is right. So. Yeah. I got people in the chat box asking about that. We got so. When do you think you're going to get that thing out?
Well, I was shooting for Black Friday. I think. I don't know. I think I'll be thrilled if it's done before the new year. I really don't have a solid date. Every time I have set a solid date, it comes and goes, and I just don't feel like it's ready yet. But it's close.
Well,
it's close, and it's it's so massive. It is at the point now where if I went outside and got like hit by a snow plow, that they'd be able to just release it. So I feel like it's at that point at least.
So where did everything end up with the book? I mean, it pretty much sounds like you've gotten written and you're just cleaning everything up now. So what are some of the things that you got in there that maybe we didn't get to talk about the last time we discussed the book? Where's it, that people are going to really be interested to hear?
Well, let me load up the table of contents here and give you a little bit of an exclusive peek.
Ooh, wow. Hold yourselves back, everybody. Here we go.
So, table of contents.
And, of course, the book is Poker Tilt.
So, right now, we have... looks like about 17 chapters. The first 10 chapters are bio. And that's kind of where we're going with basically autobiographical account of how I got into poker and how we put the crew together, how I wound up in the place I'm at now, where we've got two bracelets on my in my backpack, and really not much more to show for it. So it's kind of the first 10 chapters we're looking at kind of kind of biography. Uh, Throwing in some poker, little life lessons in there. We've got 34 life lessons, and then 7 chapters of actual strategy and tactics in the game of poker. Part 2, strategy and tactics in the game of poker. And that's one thing I think when I read a lot of books, so many of them are more focused on the strategy of poker and not so much on the tactics of poker. And there's a pretty big difference when it comes down to it. I think that's why so many poker players aren't too worried about sharing their secrets, because when it comes to it, winning at poker is it's a tactical game. It's actually sitting at a table and being able to adjust and play in the situation you're in. And pretty much every book I've ever read is pretty much covering poker on a strategic level. This one's trying to take it more to a tactical level. You're not going to see a lot of pre-flop hand charts. The first chapter in the strategy and tactics section is poker tells and hand reading. We're going to talk about kind of cover what's already been out there in chapter 12. We're going to be talking kind of about the Navarro book. There's there's the Caro book. There's one other book that was released I think about a year ago that was decent. I think it was called Reading Poker Tells.
Yep.
So we kind of combine all of those into an examination of what's already out there with Poker Tells, and then kind of talk about our own take on it, and then the difference between tells and hand reading. Chapter 13 is about poker math. We talk a little bit about basic probability, stuff like Bayes' theorem, Kelly criterion, independent chip model, a little bit of game theory in there. Some little pro tips you'll pick up, like the 2% rule. I think I brought to your show a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. But it is a different show, so I'll mention it here. One of the things that I found really helpful when I'm playing poker is some of these shortcuts, like the 2% rule, where you're trying to calculate your equity in a hand. If you count up how many outs you have, and then the rule is it's 2% per out per street. So if you have a flush draw, you've got 9 outs. You're looking at roughly a 36% chance with 2 cards to come. If I know you have top pair and I have a flush draw and only 9 outs, so I don't have any overcards, I know that's what it is. I'm roughly 36%, and that's very loose. It's a little bit of an overestimation because you've got redraws, but it gets you to the right result most of the time, rather than having to sit there and take out a calculator or take out a piece of paper and actually figure it out.
Right.
So those kind of little tactical tips, that's important when you're actually at the table. It's one thing to be away from the table thinking about whether you made the right call, made the right raise. It's another thing to actually be at the table in the heat of the moment. You got a couple people who are getting ready to call a clock on you, and you don't know what your chances are of making your hand are. You don't know what the pot, whether the pot is lying the right, laying the right odds. So, chapter 13 kind of covers that poker math type thing. Chapter 14 is about the poker mindset. We divide that up into etiquette, some loser behavior, cognitive dissonance, a little section there about poker tilt, different levels of poker and distractions at the table. Let's see, chapter 15 is about poker life, where we have that kind of divided up into respecting money, bankroll management, staking, and makeup. Some really good stuff about staking and makeup deals. Some stuff that I don't think anyone's ever talked about before or thought about before. And you see poker players selling themselves all the time. And one thing that I think kind of goes above most players and stakers is what it actually means to stake a player, and what how good of a player, how good of an ROI a player has to have for a staking proposition to actually be even break even. You see this all the time with top players selling themselves for just ridiculous markups on these one-off events where there's no makeup. And most of the time when I see it, I run the numbers and it's not even a break-even proposition for the staker. So we kind of go through and come up with the actual formulas you need to know. If here's a player who is has a 50% ROI in a given tournament, how much of a percentage do you need to even just break even as a staker? And then we introduce a new uh, what I think is a completely new term when it comes to staking, and that's called parity. And parity is what we've come up with as a word for, if let's say that you are a player, Mark, and I'm a staker. I know you have a certain percentage ROI, and I want to stake you in a tournament without any makeup, and I want to basically split your ROI in that tournament. So if you play a $100 tournament, you got a 50% ROI, and you make $25 in expectation, and I make $25 in expectation as a staker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a term that we've called parity in our book. I don't I think that's I think that's one of the many new concepts in this book. I don't think anyone's actually thought about staking terms in those terms. I definitely feel like that's a new term, if not a new concept.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I think that's one thing that really has never been put into a poker book before, is talking about the staking and backing arrangements that everybody has, and how to do it right. I mean, it's just one of those things that people never really, you see it on forums, and you see, people will talk about it at an event, but it's never really been put on paper. So I think that's going to be a great thing for poker players to take a look at.
So a big section on staking in the Poker Life chapter. We've got talking about endorsement deals, accounting, prop betting, over tipping, safety, health, Black Friday lessons, and basically ambassadors of poker. Let's see what else we have. We have a whole chapter 16 on tournament strategy, and this is where we talk about the major differences between cash games and tournaments. Talk about some what I think are some pretty new concepts, like the idea of chip inflation, what changing gears actually means, and how you actually change gears and why you change gears. I love hearing people talk about changing gears in tournaments, and then you ask them, well, what do you actually mean by that? Mixing it up. That's not what changing gears means. I mean, so we talk about that in tournament, in the tournament strategy section. I mean, I'll ask you, Mark, when you hear changing gears, what does that mean to you?
Well, when I hear that term, I think of when you get to a point where you've established a table image, or whether it's being loose or being tight, and then changing it up to try and take advantage of that image, where you find a point in the tournament where you can then change that gear so that people can then you can take advantage of an image that you've established, and then when you feel that you need to switch it back, you change gears back to what you were doing, or vice, so on. So that's what I think of when I hear changing gears.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people think about changing gears. I think in our book we're taking a little bit of a different approach, and we're treating that term changing gears as completely separate from what your table image is. And when you change gears in a tournament, we're talking more in terms of how you are playing in relation to the structure of the level you're in. So how you play, the classic example is bubble play. I mean, that's a big part of changing gears. How do you play when you're a big stack and you're on the bubble? That's a part of changing gears. It doesn't really have anything to do with your table image. Another classic example would be when the antes hit. Right when the antes hit, you've got the 100, 200 level in most tournaments, and then you got 100, 200 level with 25 antes, and you should be playing much looser the minute that ante hits. The hand after that hits, right before the ante hits, you should have kind of a set range about what you're going to be playing pre-flop, and then after that ante hits, that range changes dramatically. Then you start seeing different changing gears and changing starting hand requirements, changing your aggression level based on what the ante is in comparison to the small blind and the big blind. There's always going to be these weird levels in most poker tournaments where you're going to go from an ante of 25 and a small blind and big blind of 100, 200. And then the small blind and big blind will rise, but the ante won't. So the next level would probably be like a 153 with an ante of 25. All of a sudden, you're looking at a smaller reward for your raises, so you should be tightening it up at that point. And that's kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about changing gears in our tournament strategy section. Very independent of of table image altogether.
Wow. Sounds like it's
We
going to be
talk
an
about
unbelievable book, dude. Wow.
kind of the difference between perfect play and optimal play, which I think is another one of those concepts that doesn't get a lot of attention. So then we got chapter 17, which is getting the edge, just general strategy. Some nice little rhyming, advice that rhymes, like don't attack a drowning stack. Yeah,
Well, that's what people remember, though. It's a good way to do it.
yeah. Trademark, by the way.
Boom. There you
No,
go.
just kidding.
You should have.
Um,
Do it.
Talk a little section of just a pretty big chapter. The last one, getting the edge, general strategy, problems with hand ranges, stuff that we call the Highlander effect, talking about game selection. Yeah, so it's been a long grind writing this book. It really has, and I don't feel like it's ever going to be finished, but it's getting close. It's getting close, Mark. I think I think it was Voltaire who said that the perfect is the enemy of the good. That's how I feel here. I feel like the book already, and it's right how it is. If we just rolled it out, it's good, but it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. I definitely have a lot more respect for anybody who's ever actually finished a book, because there's a big difference between writing a book and finishing one.
Yeah.
And anytime I ever think about criticizing another book I read, I'm going to have to stop and just kind of stand back and say, this is a big undertaking. I thought I was going to be able to just finish this off in 2 or 3 weeks, and it's just not. It's not taking that. It's not. It's taken a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah, and I mean, the knowledge that you have, plus you're doing 10 chapters on your life too, which I think I'm sure that was pretty cathartic for you in a way to put all that down, and I know that when we've had talks about boy, there's so many lessons that I'd like people to learn from the good and the bad things that I went through in my career. I can only imagine what that was like, trying to put that all down on paper, and having to read through it and see it over and over, and reliving all the good and bad moments in your life and in that book.
Yeah, it took what it felt like. It felt like it felt like just taking a really good shit. That's what it felt like, Mark.
Just let it all out.
You want to hear a little five paragraph excerpt?
Sure, absolutely.
And then I won't talk about my book again. So this is from chapter 9. Chapter 9 is called "The Card Castle and the Rolling Stone." It's about when we put together the crew in Los Angeles and then rolled into Vegas for our 2004 crew debut. Now you remember back then, Scott Fishman won 2 bracelets.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Youngblood won his bracelet. I took down a second in a Raz tournament that was strangely televised, and Joe Bartholdi took down third in a pot limit hold'em. So it was a pretty good run for the crew. So here it goes. We rolled into Vegas for the 2004 WSOP feeling like champions, optimistic that we'd be putting up some huge scores. Binion's Horseshoe was packed with hopeful players who decided to take a shot after seeing Moneymaker on ESPN the year before. It was uncomfortably crowded. The tournament would soon be sold to Harrah's and find its current home at the Rio. This would be the last year that the WSOP would be downtown. I saw Joey at the Horseshoe. He wasn't dealing cards anymore. He had grinded up another bankroll and planned on playing a few of the events that summer. Joey started the series extremely well, scoring a third-place finish in the very first pot limit hold'em event. Joey took down a $40,000 score for that close miss. 40 dimes. It was a huge amount, easily more than he'd expect to earn in a year's worth of dealing. I'd watch him lose it all a week later, in a high-stakes cash game across the street at the Golden Nugget. He was playing 400-800 limit against Aaron Katz, one of the biggest assholes on the West Coast, and also one of the strongest short-handed players around. Joey would be broke again before the main event. This is the way the bankrolls go. Players will get a big tournament score, which will blow up their ego, then they'll immediately jump into the biggest cash games they can find and keep going up in limits until they are broke. Billion or bust, rinse and repeat. There's no end to this cycle.
Wow. Well, that says it all in a hurry, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's great.
I think it does, and we got 400 pages of this. It's just I feel like it's just it was very cathartic to write. I feel like I'm looking forward to releasing it. So we'll put that away. Get ready for for actually having something in your hand pretty soon. I think it's closer than I think.
No. All right, and we have a couple questions in chat box. First, are you doing soft or hardcover, and is it a Kindle type of book?
We are going to have a Kindle version, and I think it's going to be a soft cover.
Okay.
We might have like a first edition, first printing of a few hundred hardcovers, but it's going to be soft.
All right, and then the other, actually, it's a statement. Wookie Way says, Dutch, leave out enough for a version 2. All right, that might not be bad
Thank
advice.
you. I appreciate it, Wookie. You know, I think if I do another book down the line, I don't think it's going to be done the same way. I don't think I would be announcing it and working on it publicly. I think I would just release it. I'd finish it and without a word, just one day, I'd come on your show and you say, "So, what you been up to?" I'd be like, "Oh, I wrote another book, Mark."
Hey, works for me. Well, Dutch, I know we all can't wait to see it. See the book come out, and we can't wait to see you back at the poker table soon. It's always a pleasure to have you around, and get out to Vegas a little sooner, man. Find your way to the city, and we'll hang out. All right.
I will. I'll try, Mark. I hope that you have a great holiday. I'm very happy that things are going well for you, and I'm looking forward to hanging out again in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, you can crash at my place this time.
I'll take you up on that.
Done. Boom. All right, Dutch. Oh, hey, my friend, it is always great to talk to you, and we'll look forward to seeing Poker Till coming out soon. And hey, I miss you, buddy. We'll see you soon. All right.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. Take care. All right, there you go, guys. Dutch Boyd, Poker Tilt. That's going to be an awesome book. I cannot wait until that comes out because it's one of those things where you have a guy who, a lot of people, Dutch is one of those guys, you love him or hate him, and you really, he's a really good person. I mean, I know that some people like to give him flack and everything, but he is just one of the great characters in the game, and just knowing the kind of person that he is and what information I think he's going to be presenting in that book, I really feel like it's going to be a groundbreaker. I really believe that you're going to see something there that I don't think we've ever seen in the poker industry before when it comes to books. And I hope everybody will take a look at it because there's going to be some great stories. There's going to be some cautionary tales. We all know it, and should be something else. So make sure you follow along. I guarantee you'll know when that book comes out. That's for sure. All right. Don't think we're going to get to a commercial break just yet, but we should be hearing here from Fred Davis very shortly from DoubleDigitCovers.com. And if you haven't heard about DoubleDigitCovers.com, I will get their commercial in. So let's play that and get ready for Fred Davis coming up.
Sports bettors, tired of getting beat every week at your sportsbook? It's time to stop guessing and start winning. We all know cash is king, and it's time to let the team at Double Digit Covers come to the rescue to help you get the positive cash flow you need to live the life you've always dreamed about. Tony Dos and his all-star sports handicapping team will be in your corner to help you beat the point spread, bring excitement and winning to your betting experience, and build your bankroll to levels you never thought possible. Get free winning sports information at DoubleDigitCovers.com and call now for today's free winner at 1-855-489-3500. That's 1-855-489-3500. Stop guessing and start winning today at DoubleDigitCovers.com.
All right, and I just need that break. It's a great company there, DoubleDigitCovers.com, and check them out. You will definitely be impressed. They know how to pick games in there, that is for sure. And speaking of that, while we're waiting for Fred to give us a call, and of course, don't forget Matt Savage coming up here a little bit later on, calling in live from Korea. That'll be a hoot. Let's take a look at what's going on in the NFL. Buffalo came from behind, knocks off the Jacksonville Jaguars, so the Jag streak is over as the Buffalo Bills take that one down. San Francisco continues to roll below Tampa off the field, 33-14. Seattle goes into New York and crushes the Gigantes, 23-0. Minnesota, yep, that's right, Minnesota takes care of the Philadelphia Eagles. That game wasn't even close, and no Adrian Peterson, no Toby Gerhart. Didn't matter. The Eagles defense did not show up today, and the Eagles go down. Miami comes from behind and beats New England. A little change of pace there. No Gronk, no good. And the Miami Dolphins taking down 24-20 win. The Indianapolis Colts right the ship, but not too hard to do that against the Houston Texans this year, 25-3. Washington goes for 2 at the end of the game, does not get it. The Atlanta Falcons knock off the Redskins 27-26. Games going on right now. We got New Orleans. Wow, is getting whacked by the St. Louis Rams 27-3. Boy, that Rams team is just tough to figure out, and no Sam Bradford there either. Arizona leading the Tennessee Titans 27-17. Looks like they're going to cover on that one. Dallas up on Green Bay 29-17. So the Cowboys are probably going to catch the Eagles, barring a Green Bay comeback here. Carolina taking care of business with the New York Jets 30-13. And Kansas City has rolled up 49 on the Raiders. It's 49-31 out there in the Coliseum. Yikes. A pretty wild one going on out there as well. Boy, put the Eagles and the Eagles game and that game together. Yeah, you got a few touchdowns. But, of course, other sports news going on. We saw a wild weekend of college basketball. That is for sure. Kentucky, North Carolina was kind of headlining the list. But, the one that I really enjoyed, of course, was on, I believe it's Tuesday or Wednesday night. The Fighting Irish from Notre Dame. Not good. No, denied. As they are knocked off by the North Dakota State Bison. Yeah, baby. Notre Dame going down. Yes, sir, Bob. So that was a fun one. And I also, of course, want to mention the Division it's FCS, formerly 1AA championships. Semifinal games are set. It is going to be that two-time defending national champion, North Dakota State Bison, looking for their 11th national title for their program. They'll be playing New Hampshire. And on the other side of the bracket, it'll be Eastern Washington taking on Towson. And if you haven't seen Towson, by the way, they've got a running back west that is just sensational. Ran for 354 yards against the number 2 team in 1AA. So pretty impressive kid there. So when you get to see those semifinals on TV, check them out. You're going to see some great ball players, guarantee it. Of course, getting ready for some bowls coming up. What a shame, by the way, on Army and Navy. Boy, that rivalry's just turned to a pile of dung, hasn't it? I mean, really bad. 12th straight win for Navy on Saturday. They just blew the doors off Army. I don't know what's going on with those guys, but hopefully they can right the ship at some point. Now, that's pretty tough to see. I mean, because that, of course, Army used to be one of the most prestigious programs in the country, and has just never been able to, adapt to the last 30 or 40 years to really get things going. So pretty tough there to watch that, but oh well, what are you going to do? Navy's been able to win a few games here and there, but unfortunately not for Army. But yeah, so we're waiting for Fred Davis to give us a call here. We're trying to get him on the air here as quickly as possible. Also, Matt Savage coming up here on the show. So hang on in there as we wait for our guest to call. All right. Let's see. Casino Examiner puts on the chat. Watch UFC for the first time. I'll tell you what, UFC is something else, isn't it? And that is an incredible story. The UFC, obviously, no one wanted to sanction it. It was kind of that closet sport, and now has become a global sensation. Pretty impressive. So nice job by Dana White and those guys. And of course, they work with Ultimate Poker. And, so it's been a pretty impressive story there. And yes, I am stalling, by the way, waiting for Fred to call. So hang on in there and we'll deal with that. Tell you what, we'll take a commercial break, and if Fred calls, we'll get him on here. So let's step away for just a couple minutes, and we'll be right back here on the Mark Hoke Show. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit blindsquirrelapparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Masura stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel apparel.
When it comes to custom poker tables, why would you buy something someone else designed and even named for their sales or marketing purposes?
The Nighthawk, the Gambler, the Big Slick, the Nuts.
Sure, you can customize it if you want, as long as you choose between black, red, or even green cloth, but that's about it. When you choose to play off tilt, it's not just another table, it's your table. The same price gets you a fully custom designed table that reflects your style and game. Off tilt makes it easy to design a truly one-of-a-kind custom poker table that'll give you home table advantage. Sure, Off Tilt could name their tables for marketing purposes, but why? It's not ours. We don't play on it. And to be honest, there are over 1,000 named Off Tilt tables worldwide, including the WSOP, the Deep Stacks Poker Tour, the Jonathan Papelbon, as well as Julie's, Chris's, Scott's, Amber's, Tristan's, just to name a few. So let us add your name to the list and deliver a truly custom-crafted, furniture-quality poker table worthy of your game. Visit www.offtiltpokertables.com or call Brian Knott today at 262-490-3812. We'll show you why Off Tilt is the only way to play.
Want to be a millionaire? Then see if you can become fantasy sports royalty in the 2013 Fantasy Football Millionaire Grand Final at DraftKings.com. Play for free or in paid contests for real money, plus games last one day, so there's no long-term commitment. Thousands of winners have won over 10 million prizes on DraftKings.com, and now it's your turn to cash in. Go to DraftKings.com right now, enter the promo code HOKE, and get a 100% deposit bonus and a free entry into the Millionaire Grand Final qualifier. So don't wait. Crown yourself the king of fantasy sports at DraftKings.com. The heat is on. Whether you're in the hot seat of a major poker tournament or just dealing with everyday life, stay cool with a brand new Arctic Blue cooling towel. Just wet your reusable and durable Arctic Blue cooling towel in cold water and you'll have instant cooling relief at your fingertips for up to 5 hours. The towel is lightweight and pliable, so you can keep it handy no matter where you are. Plus, it's absorbent enough to make sure you and your clothes stay dry while you stay cool. No need to sweat it out no matter what you're doing when you have an Arctic Blue cooling towel handy. So get the same cooling towel used by professional athletes, poker players, first responders, physical therapists, U.S. automakers, and even reality TV stars. So what are you waiting for? Visit them today at arcticblu.com and pick yours up today. Plus, enter the discount code MarkHokeShow when you check out and get 15% off plus free shipping to keep some of your cold hard cash in your wallet. It's like the Arctic Blue Bear says, it's not cool to be hot. So pick up your Arctic Blue cooling towel today.
At Team Poker Joker, we build innovative, high-performance, poker-focused apparel designed to keep you cool and calm in tough situations. Wait, no we don't. We've just got a cool brand representing the suits of this beautiful game called poker. Our gear won't make you better, but it will keep a smile on your face. So don't be so serious and show you know how to have fun. Get your Poker Joker gear today at TeamPokerJoker.com. Grin and win today at TeamPokerJoker.com.
9 poker players on a dramatic path to glory with unbelievable twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's the Final 9 comic from Room 110 Publishing. Go to final9comic.com to download the first issue preview and get ready for the official launch coming soon. 9 will become 1, one way or another. Final9comic.com. And for more details, make sure to follow them on Twitter and like them on Facebook at Final 9 Comic.
All right, we're going to skip the rejoiner and let's get back to the show because we have handicapper extraordinaire from DoubleDigitCovers.com, Fred Davis, joining us. Fred, what's up?
What's going on, Mark? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well, my friend. Well, actually, not as well as I wanted to be today.
Why is that?
Because the Minnesota Vikings decided to play some football today.
Oh yeah, they did. They beat your beloved Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, they crushed them.
How'd the 49ers do? I was just curious.
I believe they won that game.
Oh, did they? Oh, I forgot, buddy.
Yeah, I didn't forget. I didn't say they were going to lose that game today. Come on,
What's going on?
That was the featured game on DoubleDigitCovers.com today, right?
It was a big play for us. Correct. Yep.
Yeah, so big winner there. Well, Fred, I just for people that may be newer to sports betting, let's talk a little bit first about maybe some of the do's and don'ts that you see people make, mistakes you see people making when you work with them on a daily basis with DDC. Because when we play poker, of course, a lot of poker players get into bankroll management issues and do a lot of crazy things with their money that they shouldn't. And I'm sure you guys run into the same thing with the guys that you work with, right?
Absolutely, same thing. I'd say the number one thing that people make a mistake when it comes to sports betting has to be the amount of games bet. People bet way too many games. I mean, it's tough enough to win one, let alone 3 or 4. And it seems like the average guy that we talk to on a daily basis is playing on average of 15 to 20 games a week. And I mean, as you know, Mark, it's just you can't beat them doing that. You just can't do it.
Yeah. So when you're giving people their advice, how many games typically do you feel is a good number to play during a week?
I'd say at the most, on an average, 1 a day, but then you can't play every day. There has to be days you pass. There has to be days that, there has to be money management comes into play. I mean, I have a guy from Alabama right now that's, he just can't. He has to, during the college football season, every time the Crimson Tide played, he had to bet them. And he ended up costing himself a lot of money. I'd have him up $10,000-$15,000 for the week, and then next thing you know, Saturday afternoon comes around, I say, don't bet another game for the week, and there he goes, betting his beloved Crimson Tide, and bet him in the first half, over, under the game, quarters. I mean, he does all kinds of crazy shit. But you just got to stay disciplined. You got to bet, bet what you can afford to lose. And if you stay within your money management, and you'll have some fun and definitely make some money. You just the key, like everything else, is like you mentioned, poker is money management.
So when you're telling guys how to bet and manage their money, what are some of the other tips that you bring to them other than betting a lower amount of games?
Well, when it comes back to, you have to set a limit for yourself. I mean, if you have a $10,000 bankroll, I don't recommend anyone betting more than $2,000 a game or 20% of your bankroll. And if you stay within those guidelines and you limit the amount, you limit the amount of wagers that you bet, and you have solid information coming from Tony, there's just no way you can't make money. An average guy, if you do the math, all we're trying to make is an average of 3 or 4 units a week. Well, do the math. If you figure on average you're going to bet anywhere from 20 to 10% of your bankroll on the game, and let's just say your bankroll's $10,000. Well, it's an average of anywhere between, I'd say, $6,000 to $8,000 a week that you have the opportunity to make. On a bad week, yeah, you're going to make 3 or 4. On a good week, you're going to make 6 or 8. Well, last time I checked, making an average of anywhere between $25,000 and $30,000 a month, up to $40,000, $50,000 a month is pretty good. Wouldn't you agree?
That's not bad. Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, it's funny you mentioned about betting, when guys have trouble betting against their hometown teams or staying away from those games. I see a lot of guys that I know in the poker world that they have that team that is their team that they just can't stay away from, or, they can't bet against them even though the odds are, everything's telling you do it, bet against your own team. How much do you guys run into that with the hometown betting?
Well, there's positives and there's negatives. I'm on one hand, it's one thing that, if you're really doing this to make money, in which obviously we are, and then you don't necessarily have to take your home team out of the equation. The positive is that, a lot of the time that, that more about your home team than some of these odds makers, the guys that, set these lines. My father's the biggest diehard 49er fan you'll ever find in your entire life. And, he's on 49ers.com. He's just checking out a bunch of different websites all the time. And, he bets $50 a game. He just does it for fun. And, the guy can't friggin' lose. He'll bet against them. He'll bet on them. And that and the Stanford Cardinal. He went to Stanford. So, he loves that team. And it just seems like he has an edge because he follows that team. Now, where you're going to run into trouble is that, you get a guy that's making so much money that, his $100 or $200 bet on his team just for fun. Now, ultimately, it becomes a $2,000 to $5,000 wager. Then you have major issues.
What are some of the obstacles in terms of, maybe some of the teams have been giving you a hard time this year that have maybe hurt some of the guys or shocked you in terms of how difficult they've been to peg for how to bet on them in terms maybe with just the with NFL and college football for right now. We'll get into basketball in a little bit, but who've been the tough teams that have really been kind of making your head spin?
For one, there's a team on TV right now playing the Dallas Cowboys, who I think might have just won in. If not, they just 29-24. They were up what? I think they were up 24-3 at halftime.
Yep.
I mean, that's probably one of the most inconsistent teams in all of sports. You don't know what they're going to do. Last week they gave up 500 yards of offense, something of offense, against the Bears ran up and down against their defense, and I mean that's one team, for example. It's a tough team to bat. You like to watch Romo and these guys run up and down the field, but I mean their defense gives up big plays, and that's a team. Texas A&M was like that this year. Texas A&M's a tough team to bat. Yeah, you got Johnny Football, and everybody wants to perform and make with them. But the truth of the matter is that, I mean, their defense gave up a ton of points. There's a lot of that, especially in the NFL, because there's so much parity in the league. It's real tough to make money betting a lot of games in the NFL. You can pick your spots, like the San Francisco 49ers today. They should win that game. They're a good team. They won that game. And that's what kind of, Tony gets a lot of his information from is teams that should win, we bet them. And typically, then all it comes down to is we know they're going to win the game. It's just a matter of covering the number.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's very interesting coming up with the bowl season as well is you're going to get back into that temptation of, because it's there may be only 1 or 2 games on the board that night, or maybe for a couple of days, that you're going to want to throw that money down on a bowl game that you really should stay away from. Are there some bowl games that you're really looking at right now down the road that say this is we're definitely going after this, and maybe some ones that you're like I don't know?
Well, there's definitely a couple of them that stand out right away. I think my phone's dying here. The first one's going to be that Oregon-Texas game now with Mac Brown stepping down. That's going to be there's going to be a lot of information there, and we definitely have some sources a lot of sources in Texas that we use that give us a lot of information. So that would definitely be a game we'll look at. And then out here in Las Vegas, you got USC and Fresno State. Fresno State losing 1 game all year to San Jose. And then you got Steve Sarkisian coming in for USC to coach them out here. So, stuff like that, interests me a lot, because I think there's a lot of new things happening with both programs, and I think there's a lot of information to grab.
And of course, we're on with Fred Davis, one of the handicappers for DoubleDigitCovers.com, and of course, working for Tony Dose, who's just been absolutely amazing with his picks this year. It's been a good year for Tony, hasn't it?
Tony does real well. Tony's a great guy. He puts a lot of effort into it. He knows a lot of people, more people than I do. And, the guy's flat out good. I mean, he went on a run in November that was in the NFL, I think, on like a 23-6 run for the month of November. Just absolutely ripped and tore it up. So that was great. He's an NFL guy. He always has been. He's a stud. Basketball, he's real good. NBA playoffs last year, he killed it too. The guy gets a lot of information because, he has a lot of money. He knows a lot of people.
Yeah, now, you pride yourself on your college basketball picks, and, it's been a very interesting college basketball season this year too. What's been standing out to you this year?
Again, same thing like with the NFL. There's a lot of parity in college basketball. 10 years ago, you had the Kansases and the Kentuckys and the UCLAs and the Dukes, North Carolinas, those schools that you knew, when they played a team from a mid-major that they were going to beat them. It was just a matter of how much. Was it 20 or 30? Now it's a whole different ballgame. You have good players playing at a bunch of different colleges. I think the home court advantage in college is a major issue. People say, it's a big issue, but I think it's a lot more than people even realize. I mean, you're talking about these small arenas back in the Midwest where, it's 20 degrees outside on a Saturday afternoon. These college kids have nothing else to do but drink a ton of alcohol, go to these games, and root like hell for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was one game that I saw that I think it was yesterday's. What Belmont was playing South Dakota State. The South Dakota State's got like 3 wins this year, and I know that team somewhat well. And Belmont had just beat North Carolina this year. Goes in there and gets blown out. I mean, that's a perfect example.
Yeah, and yesterday too, we got Virginia Commonwealth going into Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa was kind of down this year. Had a lot of seniors leave last year, and VCU still with that. Forget the head coach's name, Shaka something. He's been there a while, for the big contract, and what they went Final Four last year, and I think they lost in the championship game. But anyway, they go into Northern Iowa, end up losing outright, 6-point favorite. I think they lost by 6 or 7. So, and it's stuff like that you really got to pay attention to. Yesterday, I had 3 big games yesterday, starting off with the Michigan and the Arizona game. Played the total over. A lot of 3-point shooting. Didn't go over as much as I thought it would, but hey, it went over. We got the money. Came right back with Wichita State, the Shockers. Great ball club. They absolutely rolled Tennessee at home. And in the afternoon, St. Mary's going into Boise State. A lot of people didn't really like the game, but see, Boise State's a football school. The college, it's not like, again, you're going back in the East or in the Midwest when all these college kids have to do is basketball. They got a lot of stuff going on with their football program right now. And so, there was people there, but it wasn't a real hostile environment. St. Mary's, being a great college basketball school in Northern California, went in there and we're up 10 most of the game, but ended up not only they were getting 3.5, they won the game outright by 5.
Yeah, it's just a wild business. And, what is it like to be on this side of the business where you're advising people and sometimes things go well, sometimes they don't? What is it like to be that guy that's giving players advice and, helping them with, thousands of dollars on the line every night?
Well, I enjoy it. I really enjoy it a lot. I'll be the first one to say we don't win every game and we don't win every day. But the majority of the time, if you work with me over a consistent period of time, you give me an ample amount of games to show you, I'm going to make you money. And I'll show you consistent winners. But, if guys that come in and out want to join for, come on board and check us out for, an introductory price, and just, hey, try us for a weekend, yeah, we'll probably have a good weekend. We normally do, but you're not going to really see what we can do for you. We need 30 days. We need 2 weeks. We need, 3 weeks. We need an ample amount of time so where you can see when the percentages come into play of what we can actually do for you.
Yeah, that's always the tough part of it because, guys are always looking to make that one quick hit. But, and it's the same thing in poker. Somebody wants to try and, sit down at that one big game, make that one big splash and get out. But it never works like that. It doesn't work like that in sports betting either. Oh, I think we lost Fred. I think his phone died. Oh, that's too bad. We lost Fred. Maybe we'll try and call back. We'll hang on for a minute. But yeah, it's a very interesting business, and of course, a lot of poker players do get into sports betting. So it's it's quite a crazy time there to deal with that. But I know I got to meet Fred since I've been out here, and he is something else. He's one of the best guys out there that you're going to meet. And of course, if you want to give DDC a call, certainly welcome you to do it. You can reach them at. Bear with me, I lost my phone number, 855-489-2700, or you can go on doubledigitcovers.com and check them out. And, Tony Dose, main handicapper there, Scott Spreitzer's on the team, along with Tommy Bertuzzi. Oh, wait, we've got Fred back. Hang on. All right. Hey, Fred, welcome back.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. But yeah, like I was saying, I mean, you were talking about trying to stay on long term and avoid trying to make that big hit. And, that's the same way it is in poker. It's that temptation's really hard to get past.
Listen, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. The realism is that not everyone can do it. That's why guys like us and companies like us, we're few and far between. But if you stay disciplined and you want to bet games, you call Tony's office, you ask for me, I'll make you money all year long, and we'll get to know each other, fly out to Vegas, and have a good time. But if you're just going to come on board for a weekend or a day, you're better off just reading the sports page, going online, and picking games yourself, because you just don't get the actual percentages into play.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And, I think one thing that's also very intriguing about the business right now is, with football season going on, people tend to forget there's other sports like basketball. You got NBA, you've got college basketball, you've got hockey going on. Baseball is going to be back around before you know it. And people tend to forget about those other sports while football and some NBA playoffs are going on. Those are some opportunities there too.
Absolutely. And that's how it is all year. For lack of a better term, every Yahoo in America bets the NFL and college football. That's what they do. That's why we do the majority of our business during football season. But the reality is, I make money in baseball all year long, or all summer long. In the backyard, burgers and hot dogs and the family and everything, and sweating games out. I mean, it's what we do. College basketball is my best sport. I've been doing it for a long, long time. Had a great start to the season so far, and we're gonna keep it rolling. But NBA playoffs, you can make NBA during the regular year. You can make money. Everyone's so focused on football that they kind of lose sight, and even hockey. I mean, that Tommy Bertuzzi is probably the best hockey handicapper I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he is a crazy Canuck, isn't he?
Oh, he's nuts. He's absolutely nuts.
But he doesn't miss very much. I mean, that was one thing that, when I got to follow the picks that you guys do on hockey, and it just seemed like there were never misses. It was incredible.
Well, I know since the season on his big play, which we call a double-digit cover. It's Tony's big play. They get the information together. They co-handicap the games themselves. He's on a 19-2 run in the NHL. I've seen it firsthand. I bet listen, I hate hockey. I'm from Southern California originally. I don't want anything to do with it. But it doesn't matter if we're betting on turtles or ballet. If there's a line, we'll bet it. We'll make money.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Yeah, and another sport that's very interesting is boxing here, and especially in Las Vegas. A lot of people get in on that. How difficult is that to handicap boxing matches?
Boxing's kind of tough. There's a guy in the office named Vinny Falzone, former Golden Gloves champion. He was Virgil Hill's sparring partner. He knows the ins and outs. Been to Floyd Mayweather's gym a ton of times. But it's real simple. If you want to bet boxing, you do one thing. You bet Mayweather, you lay the juice, and you cash tickets. It's real simple. That's all you do.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's always an intriguing world, and in sports betting, that is for sure. And I know a lot of poker players love to get involved with it. And and if anybody wants to work with you, Fred, I know you got a direct line in there too. I just gave one number, but if they want to give you a call, how do they reach you?
Yeah, call me at the office, 855-489-3900. I'm there friggin' almost every day. I'll take Tuesday off, spend it with the family, but back in there Wednesday getting ready for the bowl games.
Yeah, there's going to be something else. What are you looking at this weekend? Is there a good one on the board?
Well, yeah, I'll wait for all you guys to call, and I'll let you know.
There we go. I lined that right up for you. Perfect. All right. Well, hey, Fred, I want to thank you for calling in, and it's always great to work with the guys at DDC. It's a fantastic group of fellows in there and ladies that work in the office, and we've certainly enjoyed a good relationship here with the Mark Hoke Show, and we look forward to continuing that and helping. You can give Fred a call and help him make some money there. Sounds like a plan, huh?
That's it, Mark. Hey, it was great talking to you, brother. Take care and fight on.
All right. Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate you calling in.
Take care.
All right, there you go, guys. Fred Davis at doubledigitcovers.com. But it is, like I said, it's a very intriguing business, to say the least. But one thing that I do see is that during football season that everybody forgets about the other sports that are going on. There are hockey games and basketball games, college and NBA, that there's some opportunities to pick up money. There's no doubt about it. And that's why company guys like Tony Dose and so on are pretty successful. I've been I've got to meet them over my time here in Vegas, and they do a great job, and they really do care about their clients. A little tough on them sometimes, but they care about their clients, and everybody wants to win. So make sure you check them out at doubledigitcovers.com. Yeah, it is tough. Casino Examiner saying being a sports tout is a tough racket. It is. It's hard. Because not only, you think about the money that flies around, and everybody's, you look at like the Matthew McConaughey movie where it makes it look like everything's perfect, but guys do lose sometimes too. I mean, every sports handicapper, no matter how good they are going to lose games at some point. You're going to, just like when we play poker, no matter how well we're playing, no matter how good you are, you're going to lose sometimes. It's going to happen. Something stupid happens that's out of your control, and you end up dropping some money, and it's just a matter of trying to win over the long haul, just like it is in poker. And it was funny. I was talking to a friend of mine about it today that said, I said to him, look, a break even sometimes is considered a win. My rule playing poker is if I'm up $1, I won for the day. It doesn't matter. It's a win. So keep your eyes peeled. But there's some good guys in that office that if you want to get in there, I know they'll help you out with the bowls and everything else. So it should be a good time. And Ken Cooley in the chat box, me and Heather say hi. Hey, what's up? Drinks are on me. You got it, buddy. You got it. Drinks are on me. I am down with you on that. All right. So we are going to step away here for just a second. And when we come back, Matt Savage calling in from Korea. He's at the new WPT event over there. So we're going to talk to Matt, of course, raise some eyebrows with that op-ed that he did on Poker News. So we're going to check with him on that. So let's take a little break, and we will be right back here on the Mark Hoke Show. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We do appreciate it, and stick around. We'll be right back as soon as I hit the magic button. Here we go.
Poker is more fun when you win. Most poker books are too theoretical. They tell you to be more aggressive but give few practical examples. Poker Plays You Can Use by Doug Hull, edited by Ed Miller, has 49 concepts with multiple, clear examples from real, live 1-2 through 5-10 games. Each hand is visually represented, explaining which players are vulnerable to these moves. Use discount code KLAV at 3barrelbluff.com to get 25% off your copy. Paper and ebook available.
At Team Poker Joker, we build innovative, high-performance, poker-focused apparel designed to keep you cool and calm in tough situations. Wait, no we don't. We've just got a cool brand representing the suits of this beautiful game called poker. Our gear won't make you better, but it will keep a smile on your face. So don't be so serious and show you know how to have fun. Get your Poker Joker gear today at TeamPokerJoker.com. Grin and win today at TeamPokerJoker.com.
9 poker players on a dramatic path to glory with unbelievable twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's the Final 9 comic from Room 110 Publishing. Go to final9comic.com to download the first issue preview and get ready for the official launch coming soon. 9 will become 1, one way or another. final9comic.com. And for more details, make sure to follow them on Twitter and like them on Facebook at Final 9 Comic.
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit blindsquirrelapparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Masura stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel apparel.
Your business and promotion will only go as far as your website will take you. That's why the Mark Hoke Show has only trusted one name for over 2 years, BlueRail.net. Whether you need custom website design and development packages, or simply need a host for your website, Blue Rail is the only developer to turn to. It's time to discover the world-class personalized service only the Blue Rail team can provide. Visit us at BlueRail.net and call 520-822-5128 right now for your free consultation today. So get on board at BlueRail.net. How far do you want to go?
Last summer, I was at the World Series of Poker every day and couldn't walk 2 steps without seeing someone wearing 3Bet clothing. It's super comfortable and stylish, and all their stuff looks amazing. The incredible team of pros who wear 3Bet hats, hoodies, tees, and more are a who's who in poker. All-time greats like Jonathan Little, Doc Sands, Brian Rask, Jason Kuhn, Scott Clements, Greg Mueller, Ben Tollerine, Jeff Gross, and of course, Antonio Esfandiari, all proudly wearing the 3Bet brand. They wear 3Bet clothing because they know that being comfortable and feeling confident is crucial to winning on and off the tables. 3Bet.com has shipped thousands of orders worldwide, and it's time for you to join the 3Bet team just like the pros. Go to the number 3bet.com and receive an added bonus of 15% off with the promo code RADIO. Make that right call. Look and feel like a pro at 3bet.com.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Oh, yeah. Back again for another great show here on RogueWire.com. One of the the coolest sites out there. Make sure you don't just come to the live stream. Check out all the articles and the blogs on RogueWire. Hey, and if you want to get involved in RogueWire, just drop us a line. Man, we're like to have bloggers and shows, all sorts of stuff. If you have any interest in doing that, we'd love to have you join the RogueWire family. So email me, markhoke@bluerail.net. We'll get you rolling. Of course, Matt Savage coming up here in just a little bit. Do want to remind everybody, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, shame on you. Go to podbean.com. We're also available on iTunes. Just look us up, Mark Hoke Show. You'll find it pretty quick. We're also on YouTube now, so a lot of the show recordings are up there as well. If you're a YouTuber, you can listen to us there. We also have an app for your phone. If you go to Podbean, you can pick that up as well. It's pretty cool. You should be able to search us out there, Mark Hoke Show. Find the app for your phone. That's right. It's crazy. We're everywhere now. Also have a Google Plus page if you want to join us there. Mark Hoke Show, not too tough to find. Same thing for Facebook. Always happy to get likes on there. A nice bump on those. Very happy to have people join us there on Facebook. Certainly appreciate that. And of course, Mark Hoke Show on Twitter. And if you want to follow me, Mark A. Hoke. I went with the pretentious middle initial because it's fun. And I spoofed Chad Holloway. We both the middle named Allen, so I decided to do an A like Chad. It was kind of cool. And so lots of places to catch us. Don't forget, of course, please go to that page on RogueWire where it says Mark Hoke sponsors and click on those banners. Do some shopping. We got some great codes for you to put in to get some awesome discounts, just like we have. One of the ones I really want to tell everybody about. It's an awesome book, Poker Plays You Can Use. If you haven't gotten that book yet, please do so because you're going to really enjoy it. I promise. Doug Hull has done an amazing job putting that together. 25% off with the code KLAV. Just go to 3Barrel Bluff, spell that out, 3barrelbluff.com, and buy that book today. We'd really appreciate it. That's how sponsors stay on board. You don't buy, they don't stay. And then we can't do cool stuff. But there is some cool stuff coming on, to say the least. We've got, of course, once again, if you missed it, we are going to be working with Poker Atlas and All Vegas Poker. I'm doing some work for them, and then we're going to be putting some things together with those guys. We'll be putting some new shows and all sorts of great stuff together that is going to absolutely blow you away. Very excited about it. Once again, thanks to John Freeberg. But, if you go to a poker room at any point, make sure you guys go to, if it's in Vegas, you can post a review on All Vegas Poker. And actually, I'll get to see it. Or go to pokeratlas.com and, let everybody know. I mean, if you're playing in a room and, you really liked it, or even if you absolutely hated it, doesn't matter. I mean, that's what those forums are all about. Get on there and leave a room review. We'd certainly appreciate it. So check those out, allvegaspoker.com and pokeratlas.com. All right, so just getting ready for Matt Savage here in a couple of minutes. Of course, a couple weeks ago, we read that amazing ad that he had on Poker News, talking about whether he regrets doing the re-entry tournaments and just how things may have gotten out of hand with it. So we'll get to talk to Matt about what he called a Jerry Maguire moment. So pretty interesting, sir, to say the least. So Matt Savage will be joining us here in just seconds so we get confirmation. Of course, he's over in Korea getting ready for the World Poker Tour event that's kicking off today over there. So it should be a lot of fun. So hang in there with us, and we will have Matt Savage on the show. Once again, for those of you, by the way, that missed my screw up, I scheduled the Off-Tail Poker Tables event at the wrong time, but we do have another tournament I set up. But hopefully, everybody, we had a bunch of players in there, so couldn't have been too bad. But we, of course, have another tournament where I've got an All Vegas Poker t-shirt, I've got an Arctic Blue Cooling Towel, and a Mental Game of Poker book for you. So get on in there, play some poker, and let's have a good time. All right, so we should have Matt Savage on here in just a minute, so bear with us, and we'll talk to... Oh, that's funny. I just Skyped Matt to confirm, and he's hanging there because he's watching the Cowboys game. He's trying to see if the Cowboys are going to blow this. I didn't look at the scores, but we have time. I'll be patient for Matt. All right, well, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, 2 minutes left, and Green Bay has the ball. 2nd and 6, Dallas 28, at least from what I have on ESPN. 36-31. So Matt Savage waiting to see. That's funny. I'll tell you what, we have an amazing time with the poker community. So I'll tell you what. And we can stall out a little bit for Matt. So I'll hang on. Just bear with me for a second. I just got to let Matt know where. All right, so as soon as Matt's ready to go, so when the Cowboy game ends, Matt Savage will be on. All right, promise. While we have a second, we'll take a look at those other afternoon scores that have come up. Kansas City blows out Oakland 56-31. Yeah, over wouldn't have been a bad bet on that. Casino Examiner said that in the chat box. It looks like we're going to overtime for Arizona and Tennessee, 34 all. Boy, the Cardinals have a lot on the line in that game. Ouch. They needed that one. So they're going to be going to overtime trying to hang on there. The St. Louis Rams are up. And it looks like that one's just about over. St. Louis is going to upset the New Orleans Saints. Boy, I'll tell you what. And someone said that to me today. St. Louis's physical defense. New Orleans has trouble with teams like that. And apparently that's going to hold up. So Carolina's going to catch up to the New Orleans Saints with their win today. And I think those were all the afternoon games going on. Of course, Carolina beat the Jets. And early today, Buffalo beats Jacksonville. San Francisco over Tampa. Seattle blows out the Giants. Vikings destroyed the Eagles today. That hurt. Miami beats New England. Indianapolis over Houston. Chicago beats Cleveland, and Atlanta by 1 over the RG3-less Washington Redskins. All right. So we're just hanging on in there. 49ers. Casino Examiner saying 49ers need the Cardinals to lose to clinch a playoff spot. Yeah, that's about right. So, yeah, pretty interesting in both conferences right now. But let's get back to the poker a little bit. Bear with me for 1 second. God, I love being in KLAV because I have producers in there. Kind of fun. We did have a record set on the WSOP circuits, by the way, as Alex Masick wins his 7th ring. And he and Chris Reslock are going back and forth. Of course, Reslock won his 7th back at the WSOP circuit event at Harrah's, Philadelphia, just a little while ago. But Masick has tied it up as he wins event number 8 at Harrah's Rincon in Valley Center, California. Masick beating a field of 151 players. He was down 2-1 and comes back to win. So a 7th ring for Alex Masick as he takes that down, winning a record-tying 7th circuit ring. So congratulations to Alex Masick. Impressive victory for him out there. We also, let's see, what else did we have going on here as well? Of course, bear with me. I know there's one other news story that Rafael Nadal, the legendary tennis player, wins the PokerStars EPT Charity Challenge in his live tournament debut. Now, of course, it is a charity tournament, but Rafa had to get through some pretty good players there. There's Daniel Negreanu was on that table, but it was also playing against, it was Ronaldo, of course, the legendary soccer player, Ukrainian footballer Andrei Shevchenko, Italian skier Alberto Tomba, that crazy playboy, Dutch Olympic field hockey gold medalist and PokerStars sports star Fatima Moreira de Mello, and of course Dan Negreanu on one table sit and go. But how about that? So he outlasts, just 6 players, and only 1 professional. But, those guys are still playing a lot of poker in that group. But winning a table with Daniel Negreanu, pretty impressive. So Rafael Nadal getting it done. Close of 2003, whining about the Jaguars in the chat box, by the way. Sorry, Ken.
Your team sucks.
It's all good, though. Not a problem. My team got crushed today, too. Boy, what a disappointment for the Eagles. Ugh. What a gack. Unbelievable. Yeah, so, by the way, great story on Poker News I do want to mention about Bob Hooks, the Forgotten Texas Road Gambler by Chad Holloway. Chad's such a great historian of the game. And, Bob's one of those guys, Bob Hooks is one of those guys who was running around with Doyle and the boys and kind of really was the forgotten man. But an awesome story there on Poker News from Bob Hooks. So make sure you check that out. Let's see. Yeah. And once again, we're just hanging on here. Matt Savage is going to join us here in just a little bit as soon as the Cowboys game ends. Don't forget, of course, if you go on Poker News, you'll see some great episodes of the Mark Hoke Show. They're a little bit behind because they've been running around the world trying to do their thing. But I know the last episode that is up there is the one with Kenna James and John Freeberg. That was a great show. So make sure you check that out. Of course, download the podcast on Podbean or iTunes. Pretty good stuff there. So once again, hanging on in there for Matt Savage to join us here momentarily on the show. I'm still waiting there. Looks like last update I've got is 36-31. We've got Green Bay is first and goal at the Dallas 1-yard line. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is going to that is what is it? Let me ask you guys out there in the chat box. What is the worst loss today? Would it be the Cowboys losing to the Packers without Aaron Rodgers? Oh, and there's the touchdown. Oh, the Packers have taken the lead. Listening to 1:31 to go, and Matt Flynn has led the Green Bay Packers down the field. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be pissed off about that one in Dallas if that score holds up. Because what the Eagles opened the door for them by going to an Adrian Peterson-less Minnesota and losing, and now the Cowboys lose to Green Bay. The Eagles' remaining games, they're going to play. They've got Chicago and then Dallas. Of course, Dallas and the last one. The Cowboys are playing Washington next week. Boy, what a huge. Ugh. At least I'll get to have fun with Matt Savage about it. I hope he's not in a bad mood. I don't like Matt when he's in a bad mood. Oh, my goodness. All right, so once again, hanging on for Matt Savage to join us here on the show. Oh, my God. All right, so Matt... hanging in there. So, guys, once again, this is Insta drama. You guys are going to know almost exactly when Matt Savage is going to be calling. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you saw my Facebook post. There was a pretty good feed in athletics that took place. I believe it was it was yesterday. For those that have followed the show for the last couple of years, of course, know I coached volleyball for a very long time. I was pretty successful at it. In Division II, which when I went to North Dakota State, they were a Division II or now a Division I school. They went to the Final Four 4 years in a row. Didn't win a national title, unfortunately, but 4 years in a row went to the Final Four in Division II. That's pretty impressive. But this feat is even more impressive. Concordia St. John's, Concordia St. Paul down in Minnesota, won their 7th straight national championship. 7th straight. They are actually, I think, ended up like 37-3. They lost to Minnesota Duluth a couple times. But winning 7 straight national titles is just an amazing feat. And, just want to give a quick congratulations to the ladies, the Golden Bears of Concordia St. Paul. That is just just unbelievable, winning 7 titles in a row. So great job, ladies. Way to go. All right, so still hanging on. Matt Savage waiting to see if his Cowboys are going down or not. But, of course, Matt over in Korea right now, getting ready to kick off this WPT event, a new one over there. And so we will have our first champion engraved on the Champions Cup in Asia. So that's going to be pretty exciting. Yep. And, oh, wow. How about that? Hey, Matt retweeted us. He's going to be on the show. It's on the WPT site. That's pretty cool. Thanks, Matt. But once again, of course, Dan Smith winning the WPT Bellagio event. Over here, the Doyle Brunson 5-Diamond World Poker Classic. Let's see, brings that home. And, of course, the new show, the Alpha 9 show has just been absolutely outstanding. Or Alpha 8, excuse me. But many, really adding to WPT's coverage of what they've been doing. It is an outstanding program that, Lingio Martin, of course, one of the hostesses of that show. And, that's been going very well. So looking forward to talking to Matt about what's going on with the Alpha 8 tour. As that is going all over the place. And let's, didn't get to pull the results from the last one. Give me 1 second here, see if I can find that for you real quick. But the Alpha 8 tournament, of course, the new WPT High Roller Series. Everybody's really enjoying that. Very impressed. So, looks like the next one they have scheduled is going to be in Johannesburg, February 14th. So make sure you check that out. Of course, WPT's got some other great events coming up too, with the LAPC coming up here shortly. The Bay 101 Shooting Star event, which is always amazing. And there'll also be a Thunder Valley, too. So a lot of great happenings with the World Poker Tour. Hard to believe, man. They're winding down season 12. Unreal. Dan Smith, holla. Sorry. I apologize, Wookie. I did not say Dan Smith, holla. Casino Xavier Savage is a Bay Area boy. Why in the hell is he rooting for Dallas? Well, we'll ask him. That's not a problem. All right, so once again, we are counting down a football game with relevance to a guest for the first time ever. So we're waiting for that clock to tick down. Looks like they're at 1:20 on the last update that I have. It looks like Dallas will be starting deep in their territory. I can't watch the game. I'm actually in my office right now at Overlay Gaming here in Henderson. And, of course, we just ran a commercial break, so we can't take another one. All right, so just, like I said, just be patient. We'll get Matt Savage on the show here in just a little bit. Man, we hit all the news and everything else. But once again, don't forget, join us on KLAV 12:30 a.m., the Talk of Las Vegas, on Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, as we are going to be joined by the First Lady of Poker. Linda Johnson's going to be on the show for the first time on KLAV. Plus, we also have two very unique guests. Of course, Ryan LaPlante, otherwise known as Potential MN, one of the top online players in the world, and of course made some World Series of Poker final tables. So looking forward to have him on the show, along with, yes, kids, if you remember him from the World Series, he is back. Baudelaire Deathbringer, Las Vegas artist and poker player, is going to be joining us on the show. Talk about a diverse little group there. I don't even know what to say about that gang. I mean, that is going to be a troop. So stick around join us on Wednesday for that. Of course, that'll replay on Friday at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 midnight Eastern time. And of course, if you're in Las Vegas, tune in. If not, just go to KLAV1230am.com. You can listen on your phone, whatever you need to do. But get in there. We'd certainly appreciate it. All right. So once again, hanging on in there for Matt Savage. If this was anybody else, there's very few people in the world that I've been like, whatever. It's all good. But it's a Matt Savage, for the love of God. And of course, so once again, Matt making and we can give you the link in the chat box there too. Of course, if you haven't read Matt's op-ed that he put up on PokerStars.net about asking if it's time to reconsider re-entry events, that's the one. All right, and Matt's calling. Okay, I'm almost scared to answer this right now. Matt, how are you?
Disgusting. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Wow, you don't sound okay, my friend. You just
I'm not very happy. But.
Just let it out, man. I already let it out about Philadelphia today, so I'll give you the floor. Go ahead, vent about the Cowboys. Have fun.
Well, the worst part is I'm losing my fantasy playoffs, but that's the worst part. But I'm only down by 2 points, and I have Stafford versus Roethlisberger, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, you won't be in too bad a shape then.
We'll see.
All right. Well, I'm gonna call it for you, Matt. You will win.
All right.
All right. Done. And so now you can blame me. All right.
Excellent.
Well, Matt, before we get to everything about that op-ed, you are calling us from South Korea right now for the WPT event out there, man. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's been good. I just got here a few days ago. Obviously, the weather is not as great as it usually is here in Jeju because it's colder and it's December. But no, it's a great place. We took a tour around the island a couple days ago and walked up and saw Sunrise Peak and went to a couple like local things to check out, and it was really a fun experience. So I know that me and the people that are here from the U.S. and the other players are having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing to see where the World Poker Tour has gone and how global it's truly become now. I mean, did you ever think way back when that this was you were going to be traveling all around the world with the WPT?
No, I didn't. Obviously, I think I don't know. I think I just got lucky, basically. To be working at the right time and meeting the right people. It's just one of those things that worked out. So for me in the World Poker Tour, it's been a great opportunity, obviously, to see the world.
Yeah, I mean, and so congratulations on everything, Matt. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw this out there right now. I was talking to some people at the Hall of Fame ceremony last, over here in the summer, this winter, and name came up once or twice, Matt. I'm going to tell you, maybe it's soon going to be time. I know we talked about it on the last show, but you might be getting some serious consideration here soon. What do you think about that?
Well, obviously, I like that. It's just one of those things where I feel like I put a lot of effort into my job, my career, and I think that my legacy will be important for me. And I think that a lot of the things that I've done and changes have been a real positive influence for the industry. And there's not just a way to get on for the players. There's also a way to get on for people that have changed the industry. And I think, and hope that people believe that I have. So that would obviously be a great honor to someday be inducted, and being nominated itself has just been an honor.
And I think one thing that everybody is thankful for what you do is whenever someone asks you a question on Twitter, as soon as you can get to it, you answer the question about, and you get some crazy questions on there, that's for sure. But how important is that for you to have that kind of a relationship with the poker community?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to basically help people out. And I think that, every time that somebody asks a question that maybe a lot of people think is easy and makes, perfect sense, maybe it doesn't to them. That's why they're asking the question. And again, I want to be there to help anybody out that I can and help any new player. And, my job and goal has always been to expand poker around the world. And I think that helping people on Twitter, Facebook, and through email, it really helps those players learn the game, and that's what I want to do. So anything I can do to help.
And of course, one controversy that came up out of what happened with the TDA was the first card off the deck rule, and I'm curious to get your perspective on that rule because I personally don't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people did. Tell everybody a little bit about the logic behind that rule. Where do you stand on that?
Well, it's not a lot of people that had a problem with it. I mean, we've used it effectively in all of our tournaments and haven't heard a peep about it, to be honest. It's, a few vocal people in the minority that feel that it affects them negatively. And, for the most part, I think it's a non-issue. we been using it. I instituted it, and I wasn't really behind it myself, but the fact that the EPT was using it, and we had Neil Johnson on from the EPT. He has joined the board, and he's a very smart guy, and has been using this rules for a couple years. That rule for a couple years, hasn't had an issue with it. So I felt that it was important to have the EPT, WSOP, and the WPT behind the same rules, and that's why we got everybody in the same room, and had 150 people, 170 TDs and card room managers and players from around the world there to institute these rules, more in the interest of standardization, to get everybody doing the same thing. And I think that that is more important than having a rule that, I don't know. I don't know why it affects people so much, or why it affects Daniel so much, but it seems to. Even though I think that if you even just followed the rule, which he has done on the EPT, it just would be a non-issue.
Yeah, I think now it's going to be very interesting. The next TDA summit that you guys have in 2 years, what kind of attention is going to be paid to it? Because certainly after that, that rule came out and some people were, shooting their mouths off about it. That now I think the TDA is going to really get a lot of interesting scrutiny the next time around. Are you kind of looking forward to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I welcome it. I've always welcomed the players to be involved. I always ask players' input, and Daniel himself, I've reached out to him in advance, and he said nothing about it, knowing that Neil was going to be on the board. So I'd just say, if these guys cared so much about it, the TDA has been around for over 10 years now, so they have the ability to be a part of it, and if they haven't, I think it's their fault. So I don't blame anybody but them. And a lot of the smarter players said the same thing. People like Matt Glantz said, it's something that we should know about and we should be a part of, and it's our fault for not doing that.
Yep, agreed. It's like not casting a vote. If you don't vote, you can't complain. That's for sure. So, correct. Well, let's get into the op-ed that you wrote, and I found this one of the most interesting reads, and obviously it's still one of the top pieces on Poker News, so it drew a lot of attention, and I'm curious to get to talk to you about this thing, where you wondered if it was time to reconsider the re-entry events, and what really made you sit down one day and say, you know what, I want to write this blog and get this out. What prompted it?
Well, to me, I just think it has gotten out of hand. When I started the re-entries of commerce, the goal was to have it so that people came into the casino every day. And if you busted out, you could re-enter the same tournament the following day. Well, people took advantage of that and said, well, this is a great thing. Not only is it good for us as a casino, because now we can charge a rake again, but we can also get people to get back into the tournament on the same day and build bigger prize pools and do things like that. And I feel that that's actually a negative to the casino, because what it's doing is it's hurting the satellites, it's hurting the cash games especially, and it's hurting those in that we're trying to have people come back for their entire series. Our goal again was to have people come back day after day, and I think that when you have those multiple reentries the same day, not only does it burn up everybody's bankroll in a single event, but it forces them not to be able to play cash games. It forces them not to even be able to have money to play the next event. And I think that that's a real issue that we need to look at.
Well, and when it comes down to it, a lot of people, I think, don't realize from the business side of it that many times poker tournaments, tend to be a loss leader. You don't make very much money from running poker tournaments. It's everything that comes around it that is where the casinos make their money. So, doing the multiple re-entries, takes away from all that. They're not, like I say, they're not playing satellites. They're not playing cash games. They're not going to the slot machines. They're not doing everything that a normal person does when they come to maybe play one poker tournament and then hang out at a casino. It just takes it all away.
Right. And it does. And, you can see it. You could look down at the poker rooms at some of these tournaments, tournament rooms that are having these multiple re-entries, and they're losing cash game players. Again, like I said in the article, I think it goes along with the flattening of payouts, and you need to have more people on the money, so people have money to actually do those things in your casino, in your property, that they're not able to do when they're putting all their money into a single tournament. And you see that more and more these days, even with these big buying events. And I think it's obviously heading down the wrong path, and it's going to hurt the industry.
Well, whose fault is it that it's become so many of these multiple reentries? Because I remember when they first started that people were saying, oh, this is great because, if I bust out this one day, I can come back and I can play the next day. And, I didn't waste all that travel money, and everybody was saying how great it was for the game. But where does the fault lie in terms of adding these multiple reentries that created this situation?
Well, I think, it's something that was looked at by maybe the casinos to say, look, instead of a rebuy, we can do this reentry. And what it does is it kind of levels the playing field. A rebuy, per se, it kind of really favors the deep pocket players. A reentry sort of does, but not necessarily. If you do it if you bust out the same day, you can reenter the next day. So I think, there's a very fine line there, to be honest. And, some of these events that are out there need to have reentry because they have these huge guarantees, similar to the one like the $10 million event we did in Florida. But at the same time, I think that, taking all of that money out of the population of the game, I think obviously is going to hurt us now and in the future.
Well, the guarantees are something else too. I mean, the $10 million guarantee was unbelievable. I know that when after that was announced, that everybody was saying to me, "I'm going to that. I'm going to that. I'm going to that. We're gonna make a run at this $10 million prize pool." Is that going to change at all in terms of the guarantees? Because obviously we had the Millionaire Maker that was a huge success at the World Series. Where is the guarantee situation going?
I don't know. I would hope that it continues. Obviously, I think that it's good for the players, and it's also good for the players when we miss every once in a while. The LAPC schedule I have coming up, there's more guarantees in that series than any other series in history, to be fair. And I think that, when players see that the money is guaranteed and that there's going to be a certain amount of players, I think it makes people show up to these events. Obviously, I think that, the bigger the guarantee, the more of a demand it is. And, when we do these, $1 million guarantees with reentry, like our first event at the LAPC coming up, and we're doing it where you can only reenter the next day or the next heat. I think that adds value to the players instead of diminishing it by having multiple reentries in the same event.
Are you worried that it may get a little bit out of hand with guarantees, though?
Well, yeah, it definitely can, and it has in the past. I think that all it takes is these properties to miss a few, and then you'll see them kind of go the other way. And I think that will happen in some spots too. So it just depends. It's a gamble for the casinos to do that, and you have to really manage and market the way you handle those guarantees to make sure that people hear about them and attend your event to make sure whether you make them or really come close to where it's a benefit to the casino. And I think that they'll keep putting them up.
Yeah, that's the tricky part is, I don't think people understand it. When they see a guarantee, you think, oh, somebody just slapped that there's a $1 million guarantee on an event and everybody's going to show up. And that's certainly not the case. There's so much planning that goes behind that to give the casino an opportunity to meet that guarantee. What are some of the keys if somebody's out there listening and said, well, I want to run a guaranteed tournament, to make sure that they hit that guarantee?
Well, you have to know what your market is, obviously, and you have to know the buy-in too. The buy-in is hugely important. There was a time where a $300 event was what everybody was doing, and that's where we were putting the big guarantees on. Now I've kept the same guarantees and lowered the buy-in. So what it does is it brings other players that normally wouldn't be able to play in that event into the event. So I think that that's key. I think that running satellites for your event is obviously key. Trying to get the people that maybe can't afford the buy-in that you're putting up into your event. But I think that, meeting with your management and having that kind of, discussion with them as to what you think you can make and what you think you can put out there that's really going to help the event.
What's been the most ambitious one that you've put on that, you kind of sat there and said, this could be a big risk that we're taking and, maybe it came through? What was the toughest guarantee you ever put up?
Well, obviously the $1 million guarantees that we started at the Commerce, 4 years ago, I think was really ambitious at the time, and we blew that guarantee away, proving that you can do it. Then you look at last year's $10 million guarantee at the Seminole Hard Rock, and you think, wow, this has never been done before. So, it really opens up the eyes to the players and, makes it a real exciting event that everybody wants to attend. So I think those are the things I worry about, people doing the same guarantees over and over again, because I think it diminishes its value over time. But I think if you do something new and exciting, people will attend, and run a good event. I think is very important too. To get people to come back.
What do you think the next trend's going to be then? Do you have any ideas about what is going to be the next thing to catch everybody's eye?
Well, I would hope that it's flattening payouts, and I think that we've done that at some of my events, and the players have responded really well. A lot of the top pros don't like it. They feel like you should have all the money up top, or the majority of the money up top. But I think that as you see these big events going on, and you see people that are nearing the money, you see it get a little tighter. You see people looking around. You see people get really excited when they make the money, and I think that's important for people to understand that them making the money makes them feel like they can do this, and then they can come back the next day and play again. And it's really helpful for your event if you know that you've got a bunch of players out there that are new to the game that said, hey, I cashed yesterday. I think I can make the money again today and come back for your next event.
Yeah, and that's always the tricky part that someone like you has to deal with, is putting an event together that is not only going to appeal to the professionals and the ones that are most vocal and have the deep pockets, but to the recreational players that want to try and take a stab at it. You want to obviously try to reach out to them too, and that's always a difficult task.
Right, for sure. I mean, obviously, I think it's vitally important to understand the market that you're in, and market to that area, and to keep in mind that the industry has changed quite a bit. It's a global game, and there's so many events out there right now that maybe some consolidation is even needed.
Yeah, and that's another point that I wanted to bring up to you too, is the scheduling. There was the next Jacksonville event coming up. There was a lot of talk about how that's going to work out, and then you've got the WPT Championship and EPT events. I mean, all of this is starting to really have a glutted market in there. That's got to be another issue that we're starting to see a lot of in poker, that maybe everybody's getting a little too ambitious with putting their schedules together.
Yeah, and I think that the willingness for groups to work together is also important, and I've been a strong supporter of that for years. I'd like to see the WSOP, the WPT, and the EPT work together. So it's not only beneficial for themselves, but it's beneficial for the players. And I think you see some of that, going on with events and these festivals like you have in Prague, where there's an EPT event and there's a WPT event at the same time, to where players can go to that one location and play them at the same time. And I feel the same way about having them in certain areas of the world as well, to where players can actually enjoy the area that they're traveling to, and maybe even put a vacation in on it at the same time, so that everybody's not so stretched in travel and accommodations and things like that, to make it work for all of those players.
What was your reaction to the WSOP consolidating the overseas events now that they're making them biannual? Obviously, the numbers weren't too good on those, and a change had to be made. What were your thoughts on that when that announcement got made?
Well, I mean, I think they felt that it was necessary. I think that it's one of those things that going to Europe for a lot of these players it's a stretch, and it's hard to do. And them coming to the World Series every year for 6 weeks is hard for them to do. So it's one of those things where I think that you have to be smart about the events that you run. You have to be choosy about the locations that you run them in. And I think that a lot of the things they've done have been very positive at the World Series. And I think it's yet to be seen what happens with this one. But obviously the numbers were affected. It's difficult to run European events when you are basically an American company. So it makes it a little tougher.
And of course, the World Poker Tour, some great events getting ready to finish up there. I can't believe the season's almost over already. That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It really is incredible. I'm looking forward to the early part of next year, and the 3 events that I'm running back to back to back.
How do you do it, man? I mean, you've got people. When people think of you, they don't. A lot of people forget that you have a family. I mean, you're all over the place and doing. How do you handle all that?
Well, luckily, I've been able to have them travel with me from time to time, and that makes it a little better. And the technology now with the Skype and the FaceTime and all of that makes it much easier. You get to see them every day, which makes it easier. But at the same time, it's tough because I got a young son growing up, and he's going to school, and I'm missing a lot of that. So maybe I'll slow down as well sometime. But as of right now, I'm really excited about building up the World Poker Tour and making it the most successful tour out there.
Now, I got to ask you about the neck. How is the neck going? And if anybody didn't hear that story, tell everybody what happened, because you almost missed that $10 million guarantee because of it.
Yeah, basically I was having some numbness in my hand and in my neck and in my shoulder, and went to the hospital a couple days before the Florida event and did a checkup. They checked everything out, said everything was good, except that I needed to have an MRI. Had that MRI and found out that I had pinched nerves around my spinal column and needed to have a cervical fusion, which I ended up having. And the hardest part about it was that I had the $10 million event starting the next day, and I had to miss a couple days of it. I asked the doctor if I could travel there. Probably not the smartest decision, but I ended up doing that with my neck brace and all, and basically on pain medication. But made it through that. Now the hardest part is the rehab and the physical therapy and trying to get back on the golf course, which I'm not able to do until early March. So,
wow.
Looking forward to that, but at the same time, trying to go through this rehabilitation.
Okay, how many bad jokes did you get about the neck collar?
Oh, millions. A lot.
What was the worst one? There had to be one you remember.
No, nothing. Just
no.
People basically saying I knew you were always a pain in the neck and things like that. That type of thing. Bad jokes, most of them.
Yeah, you should have been collecting a fund on that. Is what you should have done.
That's true.
All right. Well, Matt, I tell you, I wish you the best of luck over there with the WPT event in Korea. That is going to be an amazing weekend for you. And of course, we've got the Bay 101 Thunder Valley coming up. It is going to be an exciting time here with you and the World Poker Tour. And I know all the listeners really do appreciate all the efforts that you put in to reach out to them as well. It's it's always a pleasure having you on the show, and we do appreciate your efforts for poker, my friend.
Thanks, Mark. Have me on anytime, and I appreciate it. You guys do a great job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Matt. We'll see you soon, okay?
Okay, talk later.
All right. There you go, Matt Savage, everybody. Yeah, he's in the Casinos Ever. He is doing Thunder Valley. He's going to be at LAPC, Bay 101, and Thunder Valley after he finishes up this trip to Korea. So, wow. But I tell you what, that was a heck of a story that Matt almost missed that $10 million guarantee. He was not happy about that. If you follow him on Facebook, you saw the posts. Man, he was cringing. It was very tough. All right, we're going to take a break, and we will be right back here on the Mark Hoke Show. We got a little tournament going on, and so we will kill some more time because it looks like I wanted to set that up a little early. We're running a little earlier on our schedule than I thought we were going to be. But we'll take a break and come right back. More poker fun and excitement here on the Mark Hoke Show. Stick around. Be right back.
When it comes to custom poker tables, why would you buy something someone else designed and even named for their sales or marketing purposes?
The Nighthawk, the Gambler, the Big Slick, the Nuts.
Sure, you can customize it if you want, as long as you choose between black, red, or even green cloth, but that's about it. When you choose to play off tilt, it's not just another table, it's your table. The same price gets you a fully custom designed table that reflects your style and game. Off tilt makes it easy to design a truly one-of-a-kind custom poker table that'll give you home table advantage. Sure, Off Tilt could name their tables for marketing purposes, but why? It's not ours. We don't play on it. And to be honest, there are over 1,000 named Off Tilt tables worldwide, including the WSOP, the Deep Stacks Poker Tour, the Jonathan Papelbon, as well as Julie's, Chris's, Scott's, Amber's, Tristan's, just to name a few. So let us add your name to the list and deliver a truly custom-crafted, furniture-quality poker table worthy of your game. Visit www.offtiltpokertables.com or call Brian Knott today at 262-490-3812. We'll show you why Off Tilt is the only way to play.
Win your share of $50,000 in cash and prizes and get into the game for free with the Nevada Poker League. NPL has 17 locations in the Las Vegas area for you to play poker with your friends and neighbors. New season starts early October. Find a location near you at NevadaPokerLeague.com and get in the action tonight.
Want to be a millionaire? Then see if you can become fantasy sports royalty in the 2013 Fantasy Football Millionaire Grand Final at DraftKings.com. Play for free or in paid contests for real money, plus games last one day, so there's no long-term commitment. Thousands of winners have won over 10 million prizes on DraftKings.com, and now it's your turn to cash in. Go to DraftKings.com right now, enter the promo code HOKE, and get a 100% deposit bonus and a free entry into the Millionaire Grand Final Qualifier. So don't wait. Crown yourself the king of fantasy sports at DraftKings.com.
Your business and promotion will only go as far as your website will take you. That's why the Mark Hoke Show has only trusted one name for over 2 years, BlueRail.net. Whether you need custom website design and development packages, or simply need a host for your website, Blue Rail is the only developer to turn to. It's time to discover the world-class personalized service only the Blue Rail team can provide. Visit us at BlueRail.net and call 520-822-5128 right now for your free consultation today. So get on board at BlueRail.net. How far do you want to go?
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit BlindSquirrelApparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Masura stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel Apparel.
9 poker players on a dramatic path to glory with unbelievable twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's the Final 9 comic from Room 110 Publishing. Go to final9comic.com to download the first issue preview and get ready for the official launch coming soon. 9 will become 1, one way or another. Final9comic.com. And for more details, make sure to follow them on Twitter and like them on Facebook at Final 9 Comic.
The heat is on. Whether you're in the hot seat of a major poker tournament or just dealing with everyday life, stay cool with a brand new Arctic Blue cooling towel. Just wet your reusable and durable Arctic Blue cooling towel in cold water and you'll have instant cooling relief at your fingertips for up to 5 hours. The towel is lightweight and pliable, so you can keep it handy no matter where you are. Plus, it's absorbent enough to make sure you and your clothes stay dry while you stay cool. No need to sweat it out no matter what you're doing when you have an Arctic Blue cooling towel handy. So get the same cooling towel used by professional athletes, poker players, first responders, physical therapists, U.S. automakers, and even reality TV stars. So what are you waiting for? Visit them today at arcticblu.com and pick yours up today. Plus, enter the discount code MarkHokeShow when you check out and get 15% off plus free shipping to keep some of your cold hard cash in your wallet. It's like the Arctic Blue Bear says, it's not cool to be hot. So pick up your Arctic Blue cooling towel today.
Sports bettors, tired of getting beat every week at your sportsbook? It's time to stop guessing and start winning. We all know cash is king, and it's time to let the team at Double Digit Covers come to the rescue to help you get the positive cash flow you need to live the life you've always dreamed about. Tony Dos and his all-star sports handicapping team will be in your corner to help you beat the point spread, bring excitement and winning to your betting experience, and build your bankroll to levels you never thought possible. Get free winning sports information at doubledigitcovers.com and call now for today's free winner at 1-855-489-3500. That's 1-855-489-3500. Stop guessing and start winning today at doubledigitcovers.com.
Now, let's return to the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, we're back here on the Mark Hoke Show on RogueWire.com. One of the coolest websites out there. You need to get on board with the Rogue Wire train here. Yeah. But having a great time tonight. Had some awesome guests. Got to tell you, Dutch Boyd, Fred Davis from DoubleDigitCovers.com talking about sports handicapping, and Matt Savage. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a winner right there. That is a good show. Would have been even better if I hadn't put the tournament up at the wrong time today and played it early. Oh, my God. I got to tell you. But, hey, that's the way it goes. But really do appreciate you being with us here on the Mark Hoke Show on Rogue Wire. And don't forget, of course, we will be on KLEV 1230 a.m. and KLEV1230am.com Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central.